This video will be about aborted takeoffs. We're going to execute an aborted takeoff anytime we appear to have an abnormal or an unsafe condition during takeoff. Some of these could include a blown tire, streaming fuel, fire lights, chip lights, fluctuating oil pressure, rapidly rising ITT, bird strike, anything like that. And this is why it's important that we calculate our told every day before we go fly. That's going to give us some important information such as our max braking speed, things like that. I guess told should be all caps, but whatever. And that will help us make our decision of whether to abort the takeoff as well. Some things to keep in mind as well. If you're on a 10,000 foot runway where on an out and something like that, keep that in mind that you're not going to necessarily need to slam on the brakes, right? Nice, steady, smooth application of the brakes, which should be done on all aborted takeoffs anyways. So the procedures for the aborted takeoff, of course, are PCL, idle, right, brakes as required, right. Cool. So make sure you call out abort, 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 PCL smoothly all the way back to idle, and then smooth application of the brakes as required. If we have a stop where we require maximum effort braking, or if we suspect that overheated brakes, we're not going to taxi all the way back to the ramp and park. We're going to go make sure that we give the brakes sufficient time to cool, so if we suspect that we may have hot brakes, and we're not going to set the parking brake as well. Okay. Additionally, we want to watch out for blown tires. So what that means, when you do use the brakes as required, don't just slam on the brakes, but a steady, smooth application of the brakes will help us prevent blowing a tire, which would lead to a more severe emergency in that case as well. If we do something like blow the tires and we can't maintain directional control and depart a prepared surface, then we're going to make sure that we emergency engine shut down the aircraft on the ground as well. So PCL off, firewall shut off, handle, pull. There is a lot of talk, I hear students brief a lot of times, that we can eject as well, which is a true statement. We do have a 0-0 ejection seat, but I don't want you to be spring-loaded to that option. It would take a pretty aggressive departure of the prepared surface for that to occur. Additionally, some airfields will have a barrier, and if we are at an airfield that does have a barrier, one, we're not going to call for a raised barrier. Okay, if there is one, we'll try to stare around it, and that includes departing the prepared surface before we engage a barrier. If we do have to taxi over a lowered barrier, we're going to make sure that we stop braking before doing so, and then we're going to cross the barrier at as slow of a speed as we possibly can to make sure it doesn't get caught in the tires, anything like that.